Hi, GMC. So here is my take on the collab, and when I'm done, I'm just going to share some tips that might be helpful for you when you record your take. See you. Okay, so there we are. Some things that I sort of try to think about when recording this. First of all, I didn't really want to overdo it. That's easy. So I try to follow the backing track, and it was very intense in the beginning, right? So I kept the bent note there, and if you want to try that, we're in the 10th position here in the scale of D minor pentatonic, and you're just going to be bending the 12th fret on the G string and the 10th fret on the B string until you get the same note. The cool thing is when you hit both notes at the same time, you get that kind of dissonance and cool kind of phasing effect. So that's for the beginning, but then immediately the backing track kind of went down in dynamics. So I followed with my guitar and I rolled down the volume knob. And I tried to keep it soft. So that's really key to sort of save some horsepower for later on. And some of the tricks I like to do in there was a lot of times I emphasize the rakes. I think that works really well in a rock context because you want kind of dirty impression to fit with the music, but it should be controlled dirt. So you don't just want to randomly hit the guitar. You want these noises, and then you want them to stop exactly when they should stop, which in this case is when there's a note coming. So when I do this, I do a rake, and as soon as the rake stops, that's when I transition into a sustained note. So we're sort of grabbing the listener's attention by creating some noise, and then once we've got the listener's attention, we're showing the listener hopefully a cool sounding note that sort of allows the ears to rest a little bit. So if you want to try this kind of rake, it's like a double rake. I'm muting with the left hand, so lightly touching the strings, not fretting, just touching. And then I'm raking upwards and then downwards until I reach the desired string. So in order to achieve this, I sort of have to mute the lower strings as well, especially if I'm targeting like the G string here on the 12th fret. I don't want to just mute the top strings because I will get this sound. Right? That's not something that's desirable. So muting as many strings as possible. So now it might seem that, hey, this is a lot of work just to create one note. But once you get a hang of this, not only is this going to give you a cool sound suitable for like a rock backing track, but it's also going to be a really neat tool to find the right string. Now, what I mean by that is, I'm sure you've been in a scenario where you wanted to hit one string, but you've accidentally hit another one, right? That happens to all of us. And for this kind of scenario, it's really useful to sort of search for the string through raking, because that's what you're doing essentially. When you're practicing this, it's like you're going up and down until you find the right string. And you will find that once you get a hang of this, this becomes a crucial tool for being in control when picking. So that's why you see some people, or that's why I think you see some people overdo it, like John Mayer, because it's a really safe thing to do when you're on stage. You're going to hit the right note. So some people really tend to overdo this, and that's up to you to choose how much to use it, obviously. Yeah, and there's I also do these kind of sliding, this kind of sliding a lot, especially in combination with the rakes. So I do that rake, and then So if you want to practice that, you can start off by doing it just slowly. Maybe you can even, play it to the backing track. That's fine. Do that a lot, and then maybe you can start building some phrases with it. Now, just a final note. You might have noticed I saved my faster playing there until the very end, and that's. I think if you're building a solo, that's the scholar way of looking at it. You save your horses until the end of the solo, where there's some kind of climax going. So if you want to throw in a little bit of shred and you want to do it tastefully, then a good way to think of it is to save it for the end of the jam. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing your takes on this, and I can already see we've got some really cool ones in the collab. So fingers crossed. See you. Cheers.